first of all, I want to thank everybody for coming and joining us today. This is very spontaneous. We're all moving just like everybody in the world right now. We're moving day by day, minute by minute, and we appreciate you taking the time to kind of come together to commune with us on this call. And what we'll be doing, just kind of a little bit of housekeeping here. We want to keep it to an hour so that, because we want to be taking action. It can be very easy for all of us just to hang out and, you know, for us to kind of preach to the choir, and we can all feel warm and fuzzy that we all like each other. But one of the goals of today is that we get ideas together from each other, and that we then leave and take action on those ideas. So we're going to keep it to the hour. We're going to keep everybody muted, but what we're going to do is Jamie and I are just going to kind of bring you up on what brought this up and some of the stuff that we've been going through. And then we're going to ask you to just put a quick note in the chat, you know, if you want to jump on, you know, to make a comment, or you've got something to share in terms of an idea, or you got a question that you want some feedback from the group on, just put it in the chat, and then we'll unmute you and we'll do that. Other things I want to let you know about is that we're going day by day with this. We're not sure right now. Our intention is to meet next week again, so that we can all collectively, you know, get ideas together and keep each other supported. But who knows? Just like our world leaders, you know, they might have weekly press conferences, or they might go daily, or they might even do a couple in a day. We're going to be flexible and fluid with this situation so that we can support each other. So I just want to kind of launch in and give you some thoughts. Jamie and I were talking about this, you know, a week ago. We were talking about what do we do, where do we go, and we've all got choices at this point in time where we can hunker down, we can weather the storm, we can put sandbags out front and lock our doors, and we can hoard our groceries and everything else, and just hope that the storm passes quickly. That's one reaction that some people, and many people in fact, are taking. And then we can also, though, choose to act differently. We can choose to be leaders. And I think because we're coaches and consultants, my belief is we have a responsibility to show leadership, to step out and be out there to support people. And by not stepping up, by not getting out there and doing whatever we can do, I think we're kind of shirking responsibility. So I'll let you know, and if you've seen any of the videos that Jamie and I've done, you know that I can be a little passionate, a little extreme, and sometimes I can exaggerate a little bit. But I do want to, maybe you could call it tough love or whatever, but I really want to let everyone know that this is our time to step up, and not our time to hunker down. This is our time to give and to see what happens, because we're all in it together. We're all going day by day. And Jamie, just, you know, that's kind of my little preamble. Jamie and I are just going to chat and wrap here and give you some ideas for a few minutes, you know, maybe 5 minutes or so. And then we want to open up mics for people to share what they're doing and what their ideas are. Jamie, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think most of us here probably are stay-at-home entrepreneurs to begin with, which is really kind of cool. And I remember when this first started, you know, coming to the surface, that the markets that were doing the best were, if anybody saw this on the news, it was like Zoom, right, where we're meeting, Peloton, like anything related to being home. All of those stocks were soaring while the other stocks were diminishing. So, you know, I feel like we're in the right space. Like my son has been homeschooled this year. Let me admit people in as they come in. And now his friends are now being homeschooled. And I was saying to my friends this morning, I feel like we're heading in that direction. I've been thinking it for a long time. We are heading towards a virtual society. And there's so many more of us who are working from home. I think it cuts down on traffic, and, you know, there's a whole lot of good about working from home. But sometimes we can also feel very isolated as it is. And now even more so. I mean, I don't know about you, but my social, you know, other than seeing my friends, it was like getting out to go to the grocery store was my exciting part of the day. And now I can't even do that. You know, I feel like I was online trying to see if I could have delivery groceries, and I'm like, they don't even have anything. What am I going to do? Anyway, so I just also want to echo what, you know, Mark's been saying, and And we were talking yesterday about all of this and what was coming up. And so Mark just hit the record button and we just kind of rapped about it. And we see that we've had a really nice, showing of people who want to be here and circle around. And so that's what really this is all about, is just kind of talk about what's going on and how we can help you to support your businesses. Some of you are clients, some of you have been clients of ours, some of you we've not met, but we are here to introduce ourselves and be a resource. So that's really all that I want to say, and I want to open this up to anybody who wants to jump in. So Mark, I'll let you pick over.
So just to let you know, one final piece here and a couple more comments is, what are we doing? What are Jamie and I doing? We're putting ourselves out there. We're working harder than we ever have before, and being as open as we possibly can. We're reaching out to people. And one of the things that's important to communicate with you is we're giving everything we can. I mean, and I use the word giving. So one of the things that we put in the chat box, if you can see it there, is the toolbox. So if you click on that link, don't bother going there now. It'll be there. We'll keep it up until the very end. But everything we've got, all the resources we've got are open. And, we just want to give that and have people be able to take advantage of that and use anything that they can there to keep going and keep moving forward. And the other thing I want to comment on is this shift in thinking, is that it's so easy to get stuck in a state. And this is part of the conversation Jamie and I were having too, is that even though, like, I had a couple of clients said, oh, you're so lucky, nothing's changed for you, so you must be feeling great. And no, I'm not feeling great. And Jamie and I, both had shared this idea that we're both feeling anxious just like everybody else, whether they're working in a restaurant, just got laid off, or they're working online. We're all anxious. So we're all dealing with our feelings. What we can do about it, though, is the only way to really change our feelings is by taking action. So when we take action, when we get out and we start to communicate with each other, things start to move. We create movement. And that's what I want to encourage all of you to do. We've gotten obviously different calls from clients, from people that we're working with. For example, career coaches say, oh, well, my business just blew up. Everybody's losing their jobs. What on earth would they need a career coach for? And the shift in the conversation is they need you now more than ever, because their job might not be there, when things end. So they need a career coach to help them. Somebody else that, is looking at, oh, what am I going to do? I'm a business coach and businesses are closing. How on earth, could I possibly help them right now? Again, the flip side of that is they need you now more than ever. Health and wellness coaches, people who are dealing with stress. Think about corporations or organizations where people are used to getting together as teams, where leaders are used to delegating and working with people in a group in an office. And now that leader's stuck at home and he's going, my God, what am I going to do? He doesn't have that outlet anymore to stand up on his soapbox, if you will, and speak to the troops. Now he's got to figure out what to do. He needs your help in terms of figuring out how to navigate that, how to maybe use Zoom or another vehicle in order to continue to keep his organization alive and growing and going. So when I say, and we wrote this, coaches and consultants, you're needed now more than ever. It's true to the core. You are needed. This is our time to really help and to serve and to bring what we do so well to people. So I just want to really pump that up and really encourage everybody. What are you gonna? And I'm gonna give you some thoughts here, and then we'll by all means. I don't see anybody in the chat yet, so be careful because I'll just keep rambling if you don't jump in the chat. But put your name in the chat and say, hey, I got a comment, I got a question, or whatever, and we'll open up the mic and we'll get you involved here. But whatever you can do, the key is the word doing. So that might mean picking up the phone to a client. Even if the client has said, put everything on hold, I'm not paying you, I can't afford to pay you right now. Maybe it's a prospect or a list of prospects. Pick up the phone or get them on a Zoom call or send an email or whatever and just start a conversation. How are you doing? How can I help? And just support those relationships, because that's where it begins. It begins there with that conversation, to finding out how we can serve, how we can actually, have a positive impact. So here we go. We've got some comments coming in, which is great. And by the way, we're going to put you on the spot because we're going to open up your mic if you leave a comment. We're going to we're going to make you, well, we're not going to make it. We're not going to force you to do anything. But Kevin has something that he'd like to share.
Thank you very much. And I'm really excited about this. I got to tell you, there's a phrase that I heard actually from our pastor on Saturday night, and I really liked it a lot. And that he says, when you're going into something like this, lean into it. And I spend a lot of time on the road because I'm a corporate trainer as well as an executive coach. And you can ask my wife, don't, but you can ask her. And I would tell, I always want time to be able to do something local because I've been traveling for 20 years, and I'm tired of traveling. And now, if there was ever a time that I could do something locally, this is it. And then what I put in the chat window, and that's why I'm trying to lean into this, is that in the workshops, and again, I'm preaching to the choir, but it's a good reminder for me as it is for anyone else, is that when we have a sense of when change happens, one of the biggest concerns that people have is, wow, now I have a sense of loss of control. Even if it's a change you want, this is a change I want to be able, but it wasn't what I had planned all of a sudden to have all this time, at home. And so this is a time where I'm really trying to lean into and say, okay, what can I do now to be able to create my own control or at minimum influence? And then I really believe if we can do that, and I've looked at what's happened in my life in the past, and it really has made a difference when I just grab onto to do what I can do, which has really just been a great help. And my wife has been fantastic with that. Matter of fact, I just told her yesterday, this would be encouraging for most of you, I would guess, but I just told her, I said, honey, I just got an email from my largest client, and they've shut down everything for May also. So now April and May are both off the books. And she looks at me and she goes, okay. And that was it. And I just love that in her. And when you have someone like that who is in your corner, and so if you're not married, maybe this is our corner to where, we can help and be that, to each other. I think that it's fantastic. And we've heard so many times where when we come out on the other side of this, and we will. And one more thing, I'm sorry, because it just came to my mind. Dr. Henry Cloud wrote a book, and you might be familiar with him. Dr. Henry Cloud wrote a book called Necessary Endings. It is a great book. I read it twice on vacation. That's a big deal for me. But it's a great book called Necessary Endings. And as you can guess by the title, if you want something really good to start, you're going to have to end something else. And I'm owning that this is my time to end a bunch of travel and be able to choose what travel I want and be able to do what I need to do at home.
I love it.
Yeah.
Kevin, what comes up for me too is how many people, and we talk to them all the time. I mean, this is something that a lot of people come to us for, is how many people are in that nervous tension where they're going, I really want to do something online, but I got this going. I really need to figure out how to do an online platform or a Zoom. I need to figure out how to do some training. I had this conversation yesterday with a client who she's just did a talk like a week ago to open up to do on-site training in a particular niche and sector, all pumped up about it. What a great attitude. She came to me and went, okay, this is a bit of a change. Now I got to figure out how can I pivot and shift and do this same training for people online instead of going to their places of business.
Absolutely.
So you're right. Like maybe the expression that I'm familiar with is that endings bring new beginnings.
There you go.
And this is just that, are we going to pivot into a new beginning and take advantage of the opportunity to change and to grow? Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah, you bet. And I think that we have all heard, even just back in 2008 and 2009, Mark, when we had the huge financial crisis, that was a challenge. And how many stories we heard, man, wouldn't that have been nice to take advantage of that? Wouldn't that have been helpful? we are going to come on the other end of this. And we just have to decide, maybe it'll be great, maybe it won't. But if we don't give it our best shot, won't you just want to trip over a log? You know, I mean, it just feels like what an awful thing to have missed this opportunity. So I'm going to do my best not to miss the opportunity.
Fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to open up, I'm going to do it in this order because I see them coming in. We'll do Kevin, Sandy, Lori, and then Ed. I just want to mention just very quickly, I won't take up time, but I started my business after the last, recession, 2008. I lost my job, I lost my house, I lost my car, started my business. Wow. So I'm very grateful for all of that. So I just want to mention that, just keep the positive energy. Kevin G, let me unmute you. Oh, wait, hang on. Okay, there we go. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Jamie and Mark. So first of all, I wanted to start with a thank you because this session kind of sparked an idea, and I run a mastermind group that we just finished our 2-hour meeting, literally a minute before this one started, and it was really we changed the topic of the day based around kind of what you're doing here today. So I came here to learn a little bit more, but I wanted to share with the group some of the discussions that we had very briefly, so that all of you can get the advantage, in a servant leadership kind of model. So first of all, so there's just the thank you. So I run this other facilitation group that we've been doing probably about 18 months. So I had spent 18 years at Intel, and I used to manage the Intel's management leadership development programs worldwide for them. And then I left, like Jamie, I left in 2007, just before the crash, and then the crash happened. But we were set up in good position to continue to do our management leadership development. And over the last 13 years since we've been in business, I've maintained contacts with all of the people that used to work with me or for me or from Intel, who have all left and are now doing the same kind of stuff we're doing. And I was doing this one-off, and I finally just said, this is crazy. We've got about 15 people I stay in touch with. Let's bring that together. So I created this, we call it, it's a really sexy name, Ex-Intel Facilitator Consortium. It's a terrible name. We just haven't come up with something better. But the idea is to get together so that we can become resources for each other. And what we realized today, I said, we're going to throw the agenda topic off, and we're just going to do a brainstorm session from a servant leadership model of how can we help our clients through this time. No selling. Let's just do the right thing, and if it comes back, as an advantage to us, great. And if it doesn't, we'll eventually get it back at some time in this world or in the next. So we did that, and one of the things that we recognized kind of that came out of this 2-hour brainstorming session, which I thought might be helpful to the group, is I've got 15 facilitation, coaching, consultant experts that we meet all the time, and everybody does something just a little bit different. So what we will be starting is we're going to create this, what I'm currently calling this, what was it? Opportunity. What did they decide they wanted to do? We were calling it an opportunity session. The opportunity series. So the idea is, so rather than so let's just take everybody, we'll do an X minute session, and we'll open it up to all our clients for all 15 of us, right? Like so each of us has X thousands of clients, and we're just going to open it up to all of them. So now I can share the person that deals well with crisis versus the person that does strategy and so forth. And every week or twice a week, we're thinking about is we'll do an X minute session, right? Whether it's 30 minutes or an hour or whatever, to do the kind of things that I see are happening in the chat room, which is creating community, bringing people together, using our expertise to help the people that don't have that expertise to be better. So in that way, all I have to do from a Zoom perspective is set do the logistics, and then I can tap into my other 14 colleagues and let them share with my clients, and I can do the same. When I get my opportunity to share, I can help their clients out as well. And from a leverage perspective, we can touch tens of thousands of people instead of just a couple hundred, a couple thousand here and there. So
Love it.
Thank you.
Awesome.
That came out of your initiation, and I took action, and I'm running with the ball.
Great.
Awesome,
Thank
Kevin.
you.
Awesome.
I just want to comment,
Yeah.
I would encourage everybody to take that in and realize that this is what it's all about, is take action. If you got an idea, Jamie shared a story with me this morning about, and do you mind if I just share that story, Jamie, without any names? They might even be on the call, but how somebody had this idea. She got this inspiration and wanted to do this. And then she was moving forward, said, Jamie, I want to do this, get this together for me and everything. And then later on in the day, she said, hold off for a minute. I just want to meditate on this a little bit. And then she called her this morning in a panic saying, I hope you didn't do that. I hope you didn't do that. And what I want to suggest, if you happen to be on the call and if anybody else is on that, don't let the doubts creep in, because there's so much right now that can put us into a place of doubt. Go for it. If you're inner, I call it your inner knower. Some people call it the Holy Spirit. Some people call it their intuition. It doesn't matter what you call it. When you get that impulse to just move and to say, I'm gonna go off script here. I've got this idea. Go for it. Now more than ever, rely on your intuition, rely on your inner knower, rely on the Holy Spirit, or whatever term you want to use, to just take action and then watch what happens. Adapt as you go. So don't let that self-doubt creep in. Don't say, oh, I wanted to send this out, get a group together. I was going to get my clients together. Oh, maybe I better not do that. Maybe they're busy. I had this conversation with somebody yesterday who was saying, I'm afraid of bothering people. Afraid of bothering people. Well, that's something that does come up, right? We think of that. Oh, I'm going to be disturbing them. But you got to let those things go and just say, wait a minute. People are out there craving for community. They're craving to be heard. They're craving to get some sense of support. So go for it if you got an idea. And congratulations, Kevin, on taking action and just moving forward. I'm excited to hear the outcome of that and the how that's going to expand and grow the universe for you. Yeah.
Sandy, we've opened your mic if you want to share with us what you've put in the chat or anything else.
Yeah, I looked up and said, wow, they opened my mic already. I better be quiet until it's my turn. First of all, anybody who hasn't I've worked with both Jamie and Mark, anybody who hasn't, talk to them, because just the fact, Mark, that you sent this urgent message to me today shows that you know what you're doing, because I might not have done this, but I said, I'm free at 3 o'clock. And Mark said it was urgent, and I get what he's talking about. So I'll get on and see what's going on. What I see is that, and for those of us who are coaches, consultants, whatever, our job is to serve our clients, serve people. And the first thing that we should be doing, the most important thing we should be doing, is reaching out to them and saying, hey, where are you? Can I help you in some way? If I can, great. If I can, just know that I'm here and I'm available to you. To me, that's first and foremost. And that by itself is a great way to make connections. But this is a time, I don't view it as a problem. Mark, you said, someone said, well, you're lucky because nothing's changed for you. I'm looking at it and saying, well, it hasn't really changed that much, because the basics are still reaching out to people and connecting with them. And right now, Kevin brought up, first of all, the two Kevins, thank you for your comments. The first one was about, hey, being on the road. Now I don't have to be on the road. Great. Webinars are a great way. To this day, most of my business comes from webinars. So it's like, well, webinars is a great way to connect with existing people, invite people to watch what you're doing who might not necessarily be part of the group that you're working with. It's very powerful. And hey, that's something you can do from home. I invested in Zoom. I thought this is the time to do something, and you want to grow your income, invest in Zoom.
Yeah.
Because this really works, and it's really better than so many of the other ones and the free ones. And for $15 a month, you're crazy not to do it. So the first thing is reach out to them. The second thing is webinars. The third thing is this is a time where if you're home now, Kevin, now I'll talk about the other Kevin for a second. I love the idea of forming that group, and I'll actually, it's not one of the things that was on my list, but it will be now, and if you've got more time now for whatever reason, this is a time to spend more time connecting with people on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and Facebook groups and things like that. And I would take advantage of that. The main thing is letting people know that you're available to help if they need the help. And that's what I spend my days doing. And I believe it's working for me. I had a strange call yesterday. He said, can you help me? And I helped him. And he said, let me Venmo money to you. And he did. And it was great. I didn't even ask him for money. So this is the stuff that we have to be doing. Thank you for doing this, the both of you.
Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you, Sandy.
If I may just make a suggestion, and I'll open up the next person, which is Lori. So you'll be next, Lori. Maybe whoever wants to put your LinkedIn profile right into the chat so that other people in this group can connect with you. This is all about kind of spinning off. Let's expand the circle a bit. So okay.
Yeah, great point. And I was thinking the same thing. Great minds think alike. And I was also thinking, we're recording this, we'll post this on Facebook, and you pick this up from Facebook or LinkedIn or somewhere, leave a little comment, because then as you leave the comments, then your profile will be there. People can reach out and friend you. They can connect with you on LinkedIn, and we can, everybody can kind of build their network as we all communicate together on various channels. I want to make one other comment though, because I love it takes Sandy to bring this up, is that idea that, and I've been thinking about this too. I was talking with my financial manager, my who does my investments and everything for me, and she called me saying, I'm calling everybody. Just want to know where you're at. A lot of people are panicking. They're thinking of selling everything, and of course I said, well, of course that's silly. I wouldn't be doing that at a time like this. And she was saying it's amazing how many people do. And then we got talking, because she's kind of a little more than an advisor. She's also become a very good friend. She says, well, to be perfectly honest, we're actually, her and her husband are buying right now. They're in a place where they're investing in the equities, and they're investing in companies and everything. And I said, I think that's amazing. It's an amazing show of faith. And it's also, really practicing that idea of, you want to sell high and buy low. Now's the time to be investing. Now, I don't mean you want to, throw your life savings away right now on anything, but like Sandy was saying, little things like Zoom, little investments you can make in your business to grow it now, to build a foundation, will give you multiples of ROI down the road. I sincerely believe that. And, that's kind of where I'm coming from, and my attitude on the whole thing. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
But please, Jamie.
Yeah. I see lots of people putting in their LinkedIn profiles. So cool. I love this. I love this. Okay. So Lori, I've opened up your mic if you want to share.
Thank you. And thank you guys for doing this. Every time I connect with somebody, I feel more calm. And connecting with a group of professionals is wonderful. My husband and I are marriage and relationship therapists. So we have spent the last 30 years for most of the time in our office. And I've been working with Jamie now for about a year, trying to see if I could do some webinars or, some more online and build my list, because it's not that big. And I have never had time over this last year, as you know, Jamie.
Yeah.
So I have a webinar that's almost ready to go, but I never did it. So I'm actually very excited. And Sandy, maybe I can connect with you to get a few tips on just like how to get started. And Jamie, I also want to connect with you. And my question is, I think most of our clients are going to continue virtually, but I know that there will be some who can't afford to. And I just wanted some ideas from people, if any. How do you obviously we have to support ourselves and we have to support our clients, but we're not in a place where I can, give it all away. I wish I could. So if anyone has any ideas about that, I would love to hear them. And by the way, I've already gotten about 3 ideas just from listening to everybody.
Wow.
So thank you very much. And especially Mark about the stocks. That's the thing I've been most anxious about, and you calm me down.
That's great. I'd like to give you some ideas, and then anybody else that can chip in too around. For me, these are moments of having faith. These are moments of following your inner knower, your intuition. And I think in terms of this income, we all know this. We all know that when we get into that selling mode, for lack of a better word, that we feel a disconnect. And yet when we're in that mode where we're building relationship and value is being transferred back and forth, that it just becomes a natural thing to share the wealth, if you will, or to get a contract going, or to continue and do business together. So my suggestion for you would be, 1, let your intuition guide you. Continue to give, and give away to people, and look for also, the more you give, particularly, let's face it, right now, relationships and marriages probably couldn't be under greater stress right now. I can't think of a sector. That's what I say. I can't think of any niche, any sector where coaches aren't needed now more than ever. So relationships and marriages are under such stress right now. And I think if you can start to reach out, even if you could do it like in a public forum like this, where you maybe did a Facebook Live, or you got people together and did a Zoom like this. There are other platforms you can use too for low to no cost. And just started to say, hey, we're here. If you've got stress right now and you just want to talk, you want a safe place to talk about relationships or marriage that are stressed at this time, we're here for you. We're going to do this open forum every Thursday night at 8 o'clock or whatever. And by giving and having faith that it will come back, people are going to reach out to you and go, I love that group. You gave so much. Could we meet with you and pay you to counsel us privately? Could I meet with you to get some counsel from you privately for you to help me through, this particular issue? Okay. I believe, and I have to always come back, even in moments of doubt, I have to kind of take a deep breath and come back to the faith that I have, that when we give, then we will get the return from that. So I just want to give you I know it sounds a little flaky maybe, but I want to just put that out there as a thought. And anyone else have thoughts to share?
Sandy, go ahead.
I unmuted myself.
Yes, good. Please do unmute if you have a response. Yes.
Lori, I'm happy to help you with, on the webinar side, but you can do your therapy virtually.
Well, I know that already. We're using DoxyMe, which is HIPAA compliant telemedicine website that's free. But I don't think it does groups. So.
Well, again, Zoom is very inexpensive, and they have a free trial. I'm not selling Zoom. I've been very happy with it, and I do virtually all my coaching on Zoom, as does Mark, I believe.
Yeah, and Jamie. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and Lori, I think you could also maybe, I'm not like a big fan of like offering like a discount, but you could always, get clients who maybe can't afford your full rate at this point, but would be grateful just to be able to pay you something that they can get the help that they need. So keep that in mind as well.
I just thought maybe let them pay what they can afford.
Yeah.
You can also try things. I mean, one of the things that the model that Jamie and I use and kind of teach is this kind of, I call it a pay it forward model, is we usually do, you know, our first couple sessions, we do them free with no obligation, and we just try and pack as much value as we can into that.
Yeah.
And I believe this again comes back to I have faith that if I resonate with you as an individual, or somebody resonates with me, we're connected, they're going to want to work with me. You know, they're going to say, I'm getting value from this. I really want you as part of my support team.
Right.
So it'll come. So that's another idea, is giving out some free, hey, if you're under stress and you want somebody to talk to, we're opening it up right now. We're doing it. Here's an example from the, we'll call it the retailer service sector. There's, you know, these, there's different food delivery programs around. There's, what are they called? Here, there's one called Skip the Dishes. What's the other one, Jamie, you were talking about?
DoorDash.
Yeah, DoorDash is big. I don't know if DoorDash is doing this, but Skip the Dishes immediately went into mode. We're saying free deliveries. We're not charging. There's no fee. And I thought that's brilliant, because they're going to get, you know, they're doing it. They're investing is what they're doing. They're investing in their customers. They're getting people used to this idea of getting food delivered to their home. Well, guess what? You know, when people get money back again, they're going to go, I love that Skip the Dishes. I'm going to subscribe. I'm going to use them next time I need a meal delivered. So that kind of pay it forward and take the risk. Invest in your clients. Invest in yourself. Invest in your market, and watch what happens.
And I love, thank you. I love the idea of doing a virtual group once a week for support. I think that might really help.
Yeah.
And if I could mention, Jamie, I'm a topic expert for goodtherapy.org.
Yeah.
And I just wrote an article for them. And I wouldn't have had time to do that if I wasn't staying home. And they're marketing it everywhere.
Awesome.
And on this call, I just thought, I'm going to give them a call and ask, how can I help them do some webinars?
Fantastic.
Beautiful
Great.
idea.
Great. And, you know, I just also want to say, in relation to what we've been talking about here, and, you know, giving away, and I want to encourage people, because I stayed stuck for many years where I was like, I'm not going to give away my best stuff unless I'm being paid. And I actually have a whole different, I shifted my entire mindset. Give away your best ideas, your best strategies, whatever, because that will endear people to you. I mean, they think, you know, okay, you're giving this to me for no cost, and yet, you know, what if I paid you? Oh my gosh, you know, what? How will I explode in that way? So I want to encourage you not to hang on to your ideas and your proprietary whatevers, you know, just be generous, and it will. It's one of the best lessons I learned in my coaching. So Ed, you're unmuted. And I don't know if you had a comment. I've got you.
Are you going to sing us a song, Ed?
Hello? You hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Did you want to sing, or did you want to
I want to sing. Sing
wanna-
a song.
Did you want to comment?
Well, here in Hawaii, we are definitely, as in every state and country in the world, feeling the pain, but there's a large sense of community already built in, at least for the island. And I know Mark's on an island as well, bigger. The only thing I can just say is that we're seeing a lot more innovation happen. So that's the one word that's coming up a lot in the last couple of calls, is how are we innovating? And I don't want to say take advantage, but we're seizing the opportunity, not taking advantage. We're seizing that opportunity to innovate. I like what Lori said. You know, I didn't have the time to jump and do webinar. She probably had the same fears, or maybe people like myself, of the beginning. Doing a webinar might have been a little overwhelming and daunting. But once you do 100 or 200 or 300 of them, or like myself, I've done probably 500 or 600 concerts as a musician. You get over that fear right away. And we're innovating as artists. I must have seen, when we're doing it here on the island, we're doing a live streaming concert, because we were supposed to have a concert. And I know this is not to do with coaching and not to do with consulting. It's more, how are we educating our fellow artists on recouping some income that's lost with restaurants and bars closing and events canceling. We're live streaming a concert, and that's helping people innovate to share their music or share their art. You mentioned we always want to get paid for what our services are, of course, but we're moving towards offering our business services for free for minimum of 30 days, and then deferring payment of what, we're kind of following our friends at Digital Marketer and Dennis Yu and several other people in that space of, we're just going to give all the resources for free, because eventually things will turn back around. And like you said, they're going to pay you for your services. That relationship coach, that's probably going to be one of the bigger segments to grow the most. I probably have questions because we're also we were in the middle of starting up another service here on the island of being an officiant, doing weddings. And, we've had to build multiple streams of income. So I don't know if that makes sense to everybody about diversifying your income. That's what we've had to do. I'm kind of rambling here because I didn't really have anything to say other than I've known these two for a long time and worked with Mark for a couple of years. And we're hoping by sharing our music from the island that helps the local businesses. And the other half of that is, don't be afraid to give away your stuff for free. Just have that faith, because I think it's going to come back.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Ed, for sharing and for your music, and really appreciate your comments. Thank you.
If you guys want to listen to more music, just go to our page. It's all free. There's nothing.
Put your link in the chat there.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, great. Ashley, and thank you, Ed. Ashley, I'm going to unmute you and see if you wanted to share. You don't have your camera on. That's okay, but want to give you the opportunity to.
Okay, I'll put my camera on.
Yeah, only if you want, no pressure.
I'm definitely not dressed for the camera, but hi everybody. I'm super happy to share and really glad to be joining this forum, this impromptu conversation forum that we're having. This is awesome. Ed, I love what you just said about sharing your music, and I think that people don't really understand the value, like the true value that we get on so many levels from music and entertainers. Friends of mine have many different businesses, among which is being an Elvis tribute artist, and she's Marilyn. And people always are trying to negotiate with them and haggle down the price. And yet, they are the life of the party, literally. And so, Ed, your music is priceless. It's so valuable, and it's so beautiful that you're gifting it to people, because you're giving a really powerful gift. It's soothing our souls. It's bringing us together. It's giving us happiness. And those are things that, now we appreciate perhaps more than ever before. I wanted to add, I wrote a comment above in the chat about reaching out. And yesterday, I had an email from this colleague of mine. I teach at a university, and so we get these emails telling us, directives and COVID-19 update, and it's all very serious and grave, and it is serious and grave. And otherwise, we'll get just updates, academic updates, and it's very serious in the academic world. We take ourselves extremely seriously, which is why I love coaching and working with my clients in the actual real world as a break from that. But anyway, that aside, the message I got from this colleague of mine was very personal yesterday. And he wrote that, he started off by sharing his vulnerability and his discomfort with the uncertainty, with the panic, with the worry, the fear of this moment, this surreal moment, and then wrote that to us all, blind copy, that he was reaching out just to check in and see how we are feeling. He said, if you want to talk, I'm here. If you want to get coffees and walk at a proper safe distance together on the seawall here in Vancouver, let's do that. Just let me know. And he just expressed that he was there for you, for us, as a human being, person to person. And I was taken kind of by surprise by that, but I was really moved deeply also just by his, reaching out and lending his hand, and in case I needed to talk or wanted to talk or vent or whatever, connect. And so I think that there's tremendous value in that. And I love what, others were saying in the forum here today about offering what you can and giving it, not saying, well, it looks like you really need the support, so maybe we'll put the prices up now. No, this is the time to give and support and connect. And so, yeah, I wanted to just share that little story and encourage people, if there's anyone, that that might be feeling isolated, they would appreciate the connection.
Thank you so much for sharing that. It's so apropos. It is. We are all human beings. We're all in this. So I'm just so gratified by your share and everybody participating here. Mark, did you want to? You're muted, by the way, Mark.
I just was saying thank you, Ashley. Exactly what you just said, Jamie. But I also want, and the other thought that comes to me too is everybody that's here is again to hit home on this idea that this is our time to be leaders, to step up. I think it was Ashley and I had this conversation the other day, and we were, in jest, was kind of funny going, because we were having this conversation about it's very easy to go, well, I don't want to be a bother, and I don't want to get anybody offended. I don't want people to think that I'm trying to take advantage or whatever. And I said, well, it's kind of like walking by somebody who's drowning and they're floundering in the water, and to say, well, they didn't ask for help. They didn't reach out with their hand, so I better not bother them. And as leaders, we need to be the ones to, grab that pole and stick it out and to take charge and to reach out and say, hey, how can I help? To connect with people, to be the one. So don't wait for them to call. Don't wait for them to reach out. Be the ones that are reaching out, because people need us more than ever right now. And we like to think that everybody's just like us, that everybody are have their act together, and that everybody has, but the reality is they're not. We belong to a small group if we look at the general population. And I just want to encourage everybody to realize and to affirm yourself for the fact that you do have an amazing gift and an amazing ability to serve and to help people, and to not to squander that. Unfortunately, Jamie and I are fielding these calls and dealing with people, and a number of them unfortunately are saying, no, I'm going to ride this one out. And I feel very saddened by that, because one, they're diminishing their own power, and two, they're really letting a lot of people down by saying, no, we're going to cut back. We're going to ride this one out. We're not going to do outreach anymore. We'll just wait and see what happens. Well, how about all those people that really needed them and need them right now more than ever? So I just want to encourage all of you, just no matter how much self-doubt you have or anything that comes up that seems to be in your way, keep reaching out. Just keep reaching out and supporting people. So thanks again, Ashley.
Yeah. Erin, I've opened up your mic, so you're up. You wanted to share.
I did. Yeah. Thank you, Jamie and Mark, for putting this together. And, I just want to, first of all, just kind of introduce myself. Sorry, I'm getting a slew of things coming through my phone right now. I'm really grateful for this setting. I started coaching in October 2015, but really didn't go solo until October 2018. And so I don't have a really big coaching community that I'm a part of. I've paid to be part of like masterminds and things like that, but I've really been feeling it lately. And, just kind of like not having that sense of unity. It's very important to me. Community is very important to me. So I'm just really grateful for this call and this conversation. And it's funny because I've become hypersensitive over the last few days to all of these like posts on LinkedIn, like, of sort of the marketing that's happening and the increase in like, now's the time to work with me type of messaging I'm coming across. And I'm not like, I have this desire to want to kind of like curl up in a ball. I have personal things that are shifting in my life today. I was supposed to get married in a month. That's like not happening. Like, like pretty big things like on the plate right now, right? That being said, we all do, right? So like there's part of me that wants to like go hide and like curl up in a ball, but there's this other part of me that's like, wait a second, like guys, I've posted like 2 or 3 things, like really like super like brief inspirational things, and people are just like parched, and they're just like, yes, like you just see it, like you just like feel it, right? So the message is certainly loud and clear for me right now. It's like you're like, share, like your mindset is needed. I had someone say to me yesterday, and I'm in a few different things. I teach at a university, I coach, we had like kind of like Ashley was saying, I had the dean of the college send this really beautiful personal note, and just checking in on us. And I responded and I said, listen, I said, how are you doing? Like, I just really appreciate your advocacy and like support on this journey, whatever. And she wrote back, and at the end she said, my friend, like, thank you, my friend. And it was like just so touching. So I'm feeling a lot of that right now. I'm feeling a lot of emotion. We're open-hearted people, right? Like our hearts are pretty open as coaches. They get to be, that's why we get to do the work we do, but we see a lot of other people's hearts opening right now. And that's beautiful. And we want to be present for that and hold space for that. And you don't want people to close up. So we don't want to close up. Right. And, so I think the one thing that I'm hearing too is, Ed and some others are saying not being afraid to offer services for free. Right. And so what I'm thinking about doing is maybe offering something for free for existing and previous clients. Maybe I'll have something like that going on. I was doing these mini bite sessions for a while. They were like these 5-minute clips that people loved, and I stopped doing them. I don't know. So I'm just kind of like, it's all sort of percolating right now. But what I'm hearing is give, be in service, which is what we know, and don't be afraid to give things away for free right now. And I'll wrap it up with this, and I'll say that I've been able to charge, my pricing strategy has been fun, the evolution of that part of my journey, and I'm in a good spot. Just closed my highest, had a session with my highest paying client to date this morning. It went really well, our first session. But like a few months back, I had like a couple of clients that were like, you're undercharging. You're undercharging. And it like kind of blew me back a bit. And I was like, oh man, like I can't do that. Then they're not going to want to work with me because I don't bring it up. So I'm just going to be honest and keep it real. Like I've had that happen already, and it's messed me up a little bit. And because I don't have this like community that I'm working with, I've had to like sit with that. So I'm hearing, give stuff away for free right now. Don't be afraid to give stuff away for free. I'm going to trust that. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I just want to say, sometimes, I feel in a normal environment, like it should almost be, I feel it, it should be almost a stretch to be able to work with you, financially. It should almost be, because if you undervalue yourself, it's interesting that your clients told you that, but yeah, right now it's kind of a different environment. So, we kind of have to adjust and adapt to that. So yeah, I think all of this free, this discounting stuff, if people feel a need to work with you and they're struggling and it's even more of a stretch than they could ever imagine, we want to make it not difficult for them, for sure. But yeah, so
kind of a story, but just an example. I had a trip planned with my family. I was taking my son and his girlfriend, and my wife and I were going to be going to Spain and next month. And of course, that whole wonderful journey that we were planning has obviously blown up and probably is not going to happen for many years because we had a window of opportunity. But I was reaching out and canceling things, and a couple of the Airbnbs I had, the one person responded almost immediately, and he was in Spain and said, oh, tough, sorry. You just review my cancellation policy. And what I'd written him was, I said, obviously when I requested the cancellation, I said, we're stuck. We can't get out because we have a travel ban here. You have a travel ban before we did, so you can't even fulfill anyways, right? Your doors are closed, so we can't come there. So given that, I'd appreciate it if you just cancel the reservation, give us a refund. And then when we get our act together and we get this trip planned again, maybe in a year, I got to let you know it's going to be in the distant future. Not only will I look you up, I'll feel obligated to stay with you. And his response was, tough, everybody's got it tough. I'm keeping your money. And I thought, why would you do that? Like, why on earth would you come from that, place? where you've got an opportunity here to go, yeah, I could keep the $100 or whatever, and hide it out on my own, because who knows where the money's going to come from. Or you could just say, you know what, I'm going to trust and go, yeah, I'm going to, pay it forward. I'm going to give that back because that person's going to come back to me. And I kind of look at giving free services that way as well, is that, we know if we just trust with our intuition, with our inner knower, and we just say, if you just listen to that voice, that this relationship is either going somewhere or it's not. And when we focus on the relationship, it kind of reminds me of those MasterCard commercials. They bring them back every now and then, where they do a couple of prices and then they say priceless, like seeing the sunset in where are you, Ed? You're on the Big Island, I think. I was going to say Maui, but you're not in Maui. You're on the Big Island. But seeing the sunset in Hawaii on the Big Island.
Big Island, brah.
Yeah, that's priceless, right? Well, thinking of what we give that way is then all of a sudden, like Aaron, people start coming to you and saying, you're not charging enough because you're really priceless. Like what you're giving is priceless. And when you come with that mindset of just giving it all, you truly do become priceless. And the negotiation on what you're going to charge just becomes secondary.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing, Aaron. Anita, you're on the hot seat. Nice to see you.
Thanks, Jamie.
Yeah.
I work with Jamie. I've worked with Jamie for a couple of years now, and we've been working on a marketing campaign, which I recently turned off just because I had some family issues and was ready to turn on last week when all of this kind of started happening. So, but what I've been getting, what Mark was talking about, was these intuitive hits. And I have been getting that lately, that people need something. I teach around mindset. I am a clarity and confidence coach, and I work with people, service businesses, generally CPAs and lawyers, who have been trained to have a certain mindset. And so part of my process is to help them look at their values and, and shift that. But that's a 6-month process, and people are in kind of crisis right now. So the idea would be to do more of like a meditation. I find that if your mind is spinning, and spinning and spinning and spinning. I've, had court cases and everything else. And what I need is an interjection. I need to get my mind back into a positive place. And I can't always do it myself that way. But for me to go pull my other side of my world, which Jamie, I have a whole other side of my world, being a spirituals minister, and saying, hey, I got this meditation and I'm going to put it out to you and do it on like social media. It feels very scary. It's like, so how do you take that inspiration and then, walk through that fear, I guess?
Yeah, I've got to jump in here, Jamie, if I could. And then,
yeah.
But I worked for years with a fellow who's a mentor and teacher of mine. As a matter of fact, I shared a poem of his with Aaron the other day. His name was Bill Cantrell, and Bill worked selling motivational speaker tickets. And this was high pressure sales where they used to go in, and I can't remember, it was a rally kind of organization, but they would go into communities in the South typically, and he would be given a bunch of tickets, and he'd have to sell enough tickets in order to pay for his meal and his hotel room for that night. And one of the rewards that he used to get is he used to get to sit with these speakers. And it was like Zig Ziglar and Cabot Robert and all of these old time Earl Nightingale, like used to be able to hang around the back room with them and talk to them and listen to them from backstage and get to know them all. And one of the stories he shared with me is he said, you would be amazed at how many of those guys that we thought of, now I don't know if those names mean anything to anybody, I'm dating myself probably, but big name people. He said you would be amazed, the vast majority of them would be nervous, would shake, some of them would even throw up before they went on stage. These are people that have given thousands of talks and talked in front of tens of thousands of people. And yet they'd have, Ed might appreciate this too as a musician, is when that big event happens, that nervousness is still there, but they learn to take that as a sign of energy, of movement, and to step through it. So what do you do with the nervousness? Just step into it, just go with it. And sometimes too, it can be very powerful just to admit it. Just, you've probably seen speakers do this, or somebody say, boy, am I ever nervous right now? And it's just that self-disclosure means a lot to people. It just humanizes you. So what I would encourage you to do is do any number of self-disclosure is a good thing to say, hey, I'm starting this. I got to tell you, I'm afraid, but I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to feel the fear and do it anyways because it's my belief and I have faith that this is going to help you. So here we go. We're going to do, a meditation and I really hope you get value from this because I'm putting that's where my heart is at. And just do it. Just do it. The old Nike slogan. Just do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the feeling I was getting. It still just feels like it's just because of the audience. Again, they're a very conservative audience, but yet within my clients, they allow me to do things like this. It's just that, when you're out in the general market, it's kind of the what will people think? And, I think right now, probably people are more open than they've ever been, and they're just looking for something. So if I was going to do it anytime, this is probably the time to do it.
This is a great time to do it. Yeah.
So Jamie, we'll be working on that on Friday.
I saw you booked a call. Okay, sounds good. Okay, so we have a couple of people. I just want to open their mics in case they want to share anything. I'll start with Les. If you want to share, I don't want to put you on the spot if you just want to, hang back and listen. But if you have anything you want to, you're struggling with or you just want to comment on, I just want to open your mic to do that.
Oh, his mic is not working today.
Okay, so that's all right. So then,
thanks for joining us, Les. By the way.
Yeah, Kevin, thank you for being here. I see
we're gonna wrap up too. Yep.
I want to give Bob a chance. Hang on one second. We've got one more person that hasn't, had a chance to chime in. So I just wanted to give that opportunity. Well, okay, gotcha.
I don't think I've got anything that is going to be earth-shattering for everybody, but I do
need earth-shattering.
I do find that I think some of our certainly some of my training has helped me with the calming that folks have already noticed, and I think with all of us, I think we just have to take the what's the word I'm groping for? It's not the high road, but we look for somebody who is a role model. There you go. So it just has to be. It has to be somebody, and I would say let it be you. Let your training keep you in a spot that keeps you centered and keeps you grounded, that people will kind of be drawn to you, kind of like a magnet kind of a scenario. And I've already seen it. I was on the phone with one of my fellow clients and fellow coaches now in Poland this morning, and he says Warsaw is just they're all locked down and things as well. So it's a real mess, and he's struggling with his business because his coaching is kind of on the side. He's got a main business that's really struggling. So I think people are having trouble. So just go with your training and maybe not your gut on this one, and be the role model that you can be.
Thank you for
Wonderful.
that. Yeah, I feel that way. I feel like, at first, like I said, nobody's all that concerned. I work from home doesn't make a difference, but I think the comfort is that we're all in the same boat. We're all a little fearful, and yet we're all still have hope, and but I think it's a little comforting that the whole world is kind of in the same raft, if you will. So having this kind of communication here and feeling like a part of a little community, if you will, is, I think, really valuable, so that we all don't feel like we're just on an island. We've talked about islands. So so thank you for sharing, Bob.
So a couple again, we're going to wrap up because we want everybody just to take that idea, that, as Bob said, take your training and apply it. Anita, take your intuition and go with it. Just take action, and push those doubts aside when they creep in, because they do, and they will creep in. Just push them aside and move forward. Just keep moving forward and taking action. So I want to encourage everybody to do that, and not to make this a love fest for the rest of the afternoon. Couple things to point out. At the very top of the chat is a link to our page, our toolbox, where everything in there we've opened up. So if anybody can take advantage of any of that, please do. There's no fee, there's no charge, there's nothing in there that you have to pay for. It's all there that we hope you can leverage, and somehow it'll help you during this time. The other thing we want to point out is next Wednesday, we have our normally scheduled call, and we're going to do this again next week. So we're going to kind of break the agenda a little bit, but because it's already set up on another platform, Jamie's put a link in there to it. So it's not going to be on Zoom. It's going to be on the Easy Webinar platform. We kind of got everything already out there. So we don't want to confuse people. So we'll just stay with that platform, but we're going to go with, much the same format. We're going to talk about, some ideas as to what you can do during times like this, how you can continue to add some foundation to your business, how you can grow your coaching and consulting business, what you need to be doing now, this kind of dialogue. We'll be doing that next Wednesday. Please join us. Invite any friends, associates, any, fellow coaches, consultants, solopreneurs that are feeling alone right now and maybe feeling a little isolated, and or those that just want to share it, that want to be part of a community.
Well, if I may just jump in, Mark, and interrupt you. I don't mean to be rude.
Yes,
but
I'll let Jamie give any other details that need to happen.
No, I just wanted to say it's not going to be in this type of format, only because it's a webinar, so it's not like we can dialogue back and forth. It's really a teaching opportunity for us. So for you to come, everybody who's here and anybody you want to invite, and have a learning opportunity, that's really what that will be. And as Mark said, we'll sort of
have a chat, but we won't have the ability to open up mics on that platform. That's the difference. Is we won't have cameras or mics. We will. Jamie and I will. Right. So what we'll do is we'll facilitate. So but we will at least have a chat going.
People can chat. Yeah.
So a little different format, but by all means, please invite any friends and associates and people that are looking for community right now to join us, because we'll be there, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Also, reach out at any time if you want to just have a one-on-one chat with either Jamie or I, or then just reach out, let us know, and happy to brainstorm with you and come up with any ideas. And that's about all I've got to say today. That's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, and so as Mark said, we've got the link to the webinar there, and I also put below that the link to the Ed's playing for us. Sorry, Ed, I keep muting you.
Ed's closing us out with music.
Playing a little Spain for you.
When's your digital happy hour? What time?
We have this weekend. We canceled a bunch of stuff, so we're getting that together. I'll post it on our page.
Yeah, please do.
I'll send you a link.
So Ed's going to be doing a virtual happy hour, and I saw that in the link here, and he'll get us a link for that. Is it in the chat already?
No, I don't see it.
Okay, well, we'll get it up there. We'll make sure that people know that. So that's great.
Yeah, I like that too. Digital happy hour. That is a fabulous idea, as Ashley said. But I also put in the link to the toolbox there as well. So there's stuff there for you to chew on. Webinars, podcasts, everything that we offer that we can put together. Actually put it together really quickly for this particular meeting, and I think it's just a great thing to have always. So as Mark said, we will put out more about when we will meet again. We'd like to do this weekly, at least for a time. We'll have to figure that out. We might just stay on the Wednesday at 3:00 Eastern time. Some days it might be a webinar, but some days it might be this group setting. So thank you so much, everybody, for being here. We really appreciate it. We'll be sending out the replay as well. Okay.
Musical.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Ed, for the musical outro. Yeah. Okay. Bye, everybody. We'll see you next week, or sooner if you want.